Hey everyone, it's Aaron with Eirinn'sIntel. This is gay talk number three. I just wanted to build on some of the stuff I already covered in the last two topics. I know I talked about polyamorous versus monogamous, and I guess being single versus being in a relationship. I didn't really touch on that so much, but I mean everybody knows what that is. It's just the question is, how much do we all know about the gay world when you're trying to actually find a guy? And, how are you viewed in the gay world being single versus being in a relationship? I think if you're in a relationship, sometimes, depending on your temperament and depending on your attitude and personality, it could be that you're viewed as a unit of two people. So it would be like you and your partner, and everyone says, oh, that's, Jim and Joshua, they, or whoever, Jack, or, you know, Peter, Peter and Paul. Yeah, let's go with that. That's Peter and Paul, and they're together. So, yeah, we might be their friend and everything, but we don't want to step on their toes. But then there's a whole other set of, gay guys who are like, oh, just because they're a couple doesn't mean we can't have a little fun and we can't fool around and this and that. And that's where you start getting into the mentality of, everybody loves everybody. And it's almost like throwing back to the 60s where, the hippies kind of were like, not only self love, but also just free love. Everybody just love everyone, and everyone, everybody expressed their love to everybody no matter what. And of course, don't forget that was, 20 years before the AIDS crisis, which hit in about 1983. And we didn't know what AIDS was. And at the time, we were putting out articles calling it the gay cancer because we didn't understand the nature of it. But today, in 2015, we understand a lot more about AIDS and HIV, and even STDs in general. Um, for me, that's definitely a concern. That's why I don't find myself being as promiscuous, because I don't want to contract a disease based on my choice of sexual partner. And yes, I do choose my sexual partners to be male. But I want to make clear that I don't choose to be gay. That's biological. There's biological evidence that supports that, homosexual men are homosexual. They sleep with men because it's in their brain chemistry. And women even sleep with other women because they're chemically programmed to be lesbian. And I'm sure somewhere down the line there's a chemical process that indicates bisexuality as well. Just like I would have to say, in terms of, straight versus gay, even straight couples, heterosexual couples, are programmed to be straight. And the funny thing is, scientifically, if I am producing the same hormones that would normally attract a woman, maybe I'm still doing that because I'm male, but in fact, I could also be producing more testosterone, which could be indicating to other gay males that I have a, overflux of testosterone, which could be attracting them to me as well. Because it's, known that men have testosterone in far, far greater amounts than women do, where their main hormone is estrogen. Men also have a type of estrogen, or like a lower, much, much lower amount of estrogen in their bodies. But we do have estrogen, and actually, if we had more, we would develop breasts and we wouldn't have beards and deep voices. We would have, high pitched voices and things like this. So, in the gay world, a super, super gay bottom who has a really high pitched voice but is clearly male, he may have a higher level of estrogen in his body than, say, I do, because I have a deep voice and facial hair and things of this nature. And then you have really tall guys, 6'4", 6'5", with big, big muscles and huge feet and hands. Those men probably have a large amount of testosterone in their body. Um, but yeah, I could go on and on. I don't know. I kind of went off on a little tangent there about science, but you can see why I want to study psych, because it is a scientific discipline. Even though it's not so heavy on the biology, it's more about the anatomy of the brain and how the brain works. But we do cover biology because really biology is directly influenced by brain chemistry. So without looking at the brain, you can't really see the rest of the body. But it's fascinating to me those neurobiological connections between the brain and the body and how they affect the gay community and gay men in general. And yes, I am a nerd. I do know things, crazy facts and figures that probably a lot of people don't even know or care to know, or they maybe just Google it and they don't have it stored up here. But I do. So, anyway, guys, thank you for watching my gay talk and have a good night.